Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the only show bold enough to talk about what's really weighing on hearts across America. This is the world premiere Word on the Streets. And tonight's conversation is not just timely, it's urgent. From financial stress that's pushing families to the edge, to work-life imbalance, stealing peace of mind, to the crushing reality of housing unaffordability. Tonight we go there. And not just to vent, but to bring truth, insight, and some real answers. Our streets are filled with quiet battles, people living paycheck to paycheck, working multiple jobs just to stay afloat, and wondering if they'll ever have a place to call home. But tonight, we're not just exposing the problems. We're reminding you of your power, your purpose, and your path forward. So get ready. Make no mistake, this is the world premiere Word on the Streets. And tonight, we're not just talking about surviving. We're talking about reclaiming your life. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your hearts and hands together for the man who discovered his purpose and lives it loud, Larry Xtradonaire Moton, and the motivator born to ignite minds and shift atmospheres, the amazing Keith Fletcher, and the man who brings clarity to the chaos with the voice of reason you can't ignore, the one and only Mr. Vincent Craig. Make no mistake, there is no word without our host. Welcome to the movement, welcome to the message, welcome to the world premiere, Word on the Streets.
Good evening. Excited to be back here live on the world premiere Word on the Streets, to be with all of you all out there, but especially to be back with my brothers, the amazing Keith Fletcher, and the man with the voice of reason, Mr. Vincent Craig. What's up, my brothers? How y'all doing?
What's going on, John? Glad to have you.
So
What's
good.
going on there? What's going on, Vince? How y'all doing out there, YouTube? How my people doing?
Doing good, brother. It's so good to see everybody. It's so good to be back on this platform, on this network, bringing it like we bring it. So what's been going on with you gentlemen?
Just celebrating Juneteenth. Just thankful for this day. Just taking a quick moment just to get some clarity and then just to look back into the history of how it all started,
And absolutely right. And the brother says celebrating June. That definitely requires a hand clap and a standing ovation. What's up with you, Mr. Fletcher?
Man, I ain't doing like you say, enjoying Juneteenth, just relaxing. And the most perfect. I'm always on vacation, but my wife, she slept in real good. So just enjoying the family. Coming back from Louisiana, getting back from Louisiana to Texas, and then dealing with. And I went to Louisiana, man. My sinuses and everything were tore up. It's a trip, and I'm back home. I'm feeling good. Yeah, that's it. Back in my state, back in my bed, back home.
Okay, all right. I did hear you speak on that a little bit in your program earlier today on Facebook. By the way, if anybody would like to catch the amazing Keith Fletcher live on Facebook, he go on Facebook Live about 2 or 3 times a week. You could catch him. I encourage you. You don't want to miss him. When I say he's live, folks. He's live, brothers and sisters. Check him out. But speaking about traveling back home down to the Big O, down to the southern part of Louisiana, what was the purpose, if you don't mind me asking, that why you went down there?
Well, I went down there for a family issue. One of our, biggest supporter, it's probably on the line now. Went down there to see Selena. They had a little issue we had to take care of, man. She doing better. Went down there, check on her, make sure she's doing well, and she's doing better. So.
All right, awesome. Yeah, give a hand clap for Selena. She really things back on with us. We're still praying for you, Selena, no matter where you are, but we still got you in our prayers.
Mm-hmm.
That's good, man. That's good. And look, it's been a minute, folks. We only do this show once a week, but when we come on, all three of us are tied up in a knot with wanting to express our views because, personally, we have so much to give and so much we want to say. The thing about it is, we have experienced things in life, and some of it has been heroic and good, and some of it we can help others not to make the same mistakes that we made. So when we get an opportunity like this one on Thursday, once a week, every Thursday, we don't play with it and we don't want to miss it unless we just have to. But we are excited to be here live. If this is your first time tuning in to the world premiere Word on the Streets, don't let it be your last one. All you have to do, friends, is click and subscribe so that you will be notified every time we go live. You will automatically get notification. But without further ado, brothers, if y'all don't mind, we could just go and jump on this show tonight and start unfolding everything that what the people came here for.
Let's hit it.
Let's do it. We're talking about breaking the cycle and work life balance. When you think about breaking the cycle, that is loaded in and of itself. And so as I was thinking about this and preparing myself mentally, emotionally, prayerfully for this program tonight, I ran across, well, before I even get there, let me just start here talking about breaking the cycle. Let me start with my personal self before I share with you someone else. When I was growing up, when I was a boy, and perhaps Vincent, where you come from as well, I know Keith can attest to this because he came from the same background as I did. But when I was a boy, when you finish school, and especially when you finish college, it's expected upon you back in my day now. I'm not talking about today, friend. Y'all just ride with me for a few moments. To leave home, and the phrase was, go make something of yourself. You leave home. You was encouraged to go and leave back in my day. So you leave and you do get the job, you do make the income, but on the flip side of that, the untold story is that when you do leave and you make the income, that comes with paying a mortgage or paying. It comes with a lot of bills and responsibility. Now, in America, wealth is achieved in several ways. And one of the ways that wealth come about, and this we talk about it all here, is that you're born with it, someone die and leave you a fortune, or you get a good income, a job that paying you a healthy income, but you get a chance, an opportunity to stack that money. You can build wealth, and then you can invest while you're building, and so on and so forth. However, back in my day, you were expected to leave home. So when you left, you didn't have the opportunity to build wealth because you had to pay for those things I spoke about earlier. You have to pay for that nice apartment, the nice neighborhood you were living in, the car note, etc., etc., etc. In today's world, we've learned over that time that now it's not embarrassing, it's not a shame to have your son or daughter, if they're willing to abide by the house rule. You don't have to leave home right away. In fact, in my case, I discourage it. And I encourage you, if you're making that healthy income, stack that money, let it build, let it grow, invest that money, So you can leave as a wealthy individual instead of someone who's struggling. That's today versus back in my day. That's my personal experience. Uh, Fletcher, maybe you can explain it. I think you can a little bit better than I just did.
Let Vince go. I got something in my throat. I'm sorry.
All right, I can go ahead and
Yeah,
go.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Uh,
go ahead on, Vincent.
yeah, I don't think there's too much of an age difference, right, between all of us on this podium here. I think we kind of have a similarity of sorts. I like what you said. Back in the day, it was like we would go to school, find a job,
Yes,
make them proud, right?
that's right.
Coming from a single parent home, uh, you really wanted to make mom proud. But the one thing that I can say that my mom did was she made it uncomfortable for me, right? Because she didn't want me to stay at home forever. And in doing that and in making me uncomfortable with love, right? Uncomfortable because if I can endure her house, I can endure whatever comes my way, right? She didn't want me to just settle and get comfortable. There was, as you said, abiding by the house rules, right? There was an agreement. Once you graduate high school, you either go to school full time, work part time. You can stay here, all bills paid, get whatever you can, or vice versa, work full time, school part time. I wanted to be, I kind of went against the grain. I went to school full time afterward for about a year and a half. Didn't really take it seriously. And for me, started working, but then I stopped going to school. So my mom was like, hey, a deal's a deal. You're showing me that you're a grown man making grown man decisions and choices. So in 1992, I'll never forget it. I came home one day. My mom stopped me at the door. She said, "Where you think you're going?" I said, "I'm going inside." She said, "No, there's going to be some changes here." I was like, "Okay, what is that?" She said, "You come in the house when I come in, you leave when I leave." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And it didn't hit me until one day after work. I'm coming home from work, tie on, slacks, shoot hoop in my slacks. Then my boys are saying, "Man, why don't you go change?" I said, "My mom's not home yet. I'm 20 years old." Just like, man, but it was a dose of reality of like,
Yeah,
this is it.
yeah, that's
On the
right.
flip side of that, I hate the fact that, and Keith and I have talked about this with my youngest, right? Uh, he just turned 20 in March. Keith and I were talking on his porch. He was like, "Are you sure he's ready to get out on his own?" And I said, "Yeah, he's." And I tried to do what my mom did, right? Make the rule, go to school, do something. If that's not working, then hey. The one thing that pushed it a little bit quicker was because I saw the time that he had. I saw what he wasn't doing with his free time, right? Wasn't in any trouble, on the video games with Keith's sons. uh, but it's like I wish I would have said it on here. I wish I would have waited probably another 6 months or at least give him another year, right? Because Keith was like, "Are you sure he's ready?" And Keith and I had another talk. He's like, "No, I didn't really mean that for if he was ready. I was wondering if you were ready because you weren't ready for him to leave." And I was just like, man, it hit me. And again, it's been 4 months removed since he's moved out, and I've had to help him out financially. Scale back some of
Mhm.
his savings and make sure he's making the wise decisions because I see things.
Right,
So it's
right,
it's 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 it's
right.
it's funny that you
Absolutely.
say that. It's funny that you say
Right.
that because it ties into that. God doesn't make mistakes; He makes corrections. So the timing of this is very prominent.
Yeah,
So
isn't that is so unique? That's how the spirit works. And the
yeah,
truth is, Vincent, the world has changed since our time.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost has flipped like you flip a coin. You know, you and I, we both know that we're three men, and we know when we finished, it was just not only was it just in the back of our head, but it was just something about taking on that manhood and responsibility that you just knew that was the next step. But now things has flipped whereby, as you say, you really want to make sure that your son or daughter is equipped and ready mentally, financially, spiritually. I mean, every dynamic because we know that it ain't like it used to be. It's
Correct.
just not. It's far too much. It's far more expensive now than it was in my day. I'm gonna tell you that so far.
For
Keith,
sure.
are you okay, brother?
Yeah, I'm all right. I got my cough drop. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, go ahead on, man.
Well, with me, and my mom, man, I was 13 years old, and she came to me and my brother. My brother was a little younger, and she asked me what we was gonna do. You know, we looking like, what you mean, what we gonna do, mama? She said, what you gonna do with yourselves? Like, what you mean, mama? You know, what you gonna do when you grow up? Because you know, when you grow up, you can't stay here. And he's like, mom, 13 years old. You know what I'm saying? He said, we got to start early. You can't wait till you get 18 to decide where you're going to go. You need to start now. And we laughed about that. And when I got out, she kept asking what I wanted to do. You know, and I graduated, you know, and I went to college and I never looked back. My brother went to college. We never went back to my mama's house. We never went back there, you know. And my mama was going to make it uneasy anyway if we went back there. It wasn't nothing. She already had enough plans to go. You know what I'm saying? She didn't make it easy when I was living there, so she wasn't about to make it easy while we are men and land on that. So she said she wouldn't be able to stand and see us like that. And I get it. I get it. Sure now you said something earlier, you know, this happening in this time. No, this happened back in the day. It all really back in the day, way back in the day, in the old time, you know, we used to stay there. The kids could stay at the home and they would work with the family and build with the family. The new age came that we had to run out the house. You know what I'm saying? The new this and that we left the house early came later on. But it was always the family stayed together because, you know, you plowed the land, you worked on the land, you stayed at home. You know what I'm saying? You needed people. So when the new age came and worked and, you know what I'm saying, they started having you working and going work with other people, that's when people start leaving home and, you know, become a man. And you used to stay back in the day, stay longer, getting nurtured under your father, you know, till you couldn't take it no more, till you saved enough money and you left out the right way, you know. I went out that way. I think that was hard. I don't think that was right because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do, where to go. You know, they told us to go to college. I didn't really know what to take. I said, I'm going to take computers, and I just took it. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't prepared to go out there. I wasn't prepared to go out there and have to know what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, so when I got out there, it was rough. You know, then I got married early, so it made it even rougher. You know what I'm saying? But paying the bills wasn't a problem with me. You know what I'm saying? Paying the bills, because I see men in my family pay bills, take care of the home. But taking care of the relationship problem, that I think if I'd have stayed a little longer, I'd have learned that I didn't understand the magnitude of being a father, being a husband, you know what I'm saying? And being a father and a husband and all them other things. But yeah, I think we should keep our kids at home, you know, till they find that gift inside what they need to do. So it was hard for me. It was hard for me, I would say.
Yeah, and sorry, extraordinary. Let me
You
jump
know,
in. If you kind of look at it, Keith, I like what you said. I think from different cultures do things different, right?
Yeah,
I'll look at some Asian, some other ethnicities and origins, and you know, you have families staying at home, but it's like what they're doing is the ones that are staying at home, they're stockpiling money, right? They're
yes,
doing stuff a little bit different. I think the thing that I've started to understand is we were pushed to go to school. We weren't pushed to become entrepreneurs.
mm-hmm.
What we're doing what part of the topic is today,
Right.
breaking the generational curses.
That's right.
I'm teaching them a different way of, hey, you can become an entrepreneur. Look at what I've been doing. Even though I've been working corporate, I'm doing stuff on the side, stocks, trading, things of that nature. Like, hey, you can do this. I've shown you. The one thing that you, the one thing our parents did it differently. They didn't always walk us through it. We watched. This generation is so distracted to where they're not interested in watching and learning because they're looking at the next phone, the next video game. Unless you have some self-discipline. But it's like I'm teaching them to look, you can be an entrepreneur, you can trade, you can do something. Truth be told, AI is about to knock a lot of stuff out.
That's right.
Entrepreneurship is kind of looking the way to go, right? So again, we're looking at how do we break the generational curses of teaching our kids differently.
That is so interesting and so well said because this is one of the things where this is the paramount of what I was talking about when I said it almost has flipped on a coin in this new day and age with AI. America is not the same America. Most of the job we already losing traditional jobs by leaps and bounds, and this is just the tip of the iceberg of what's getting ready to happen. And with AI, we either gonna get with the program or we're gonna get left behind. And we don't have to get left behind because, as you stated, this is what we're doing and what we're trying to do, and this is what really this is the premise of why Fletcher go on live. This is the premise why we come on live. This is the premise why we talk so passionately as we do about this subject matter is because just as we're giving to our kids, we feel as if we also need to give it to you as well because we are all connected. And you don't have to feel like you can't grow, you can't change, you can't keep up, you can't do it. You can. That's why we're here. We're here to let you know, yes, you can. To coin a phrase that was very popular, you can make the transition of change just because it was that way. Listen, we can embrace the past, we can memorialize, memorize, we can do all the loving thing with the past, but we're here now. We're here. And not only are we here, then we have our kids that coming after us. And we have a community. We have lives to touch. Premier Word on the Street is our ministry. Our responsibility is to share with you all what did it for us. We made the switch. We had to make the change. And because we made the change, and we realized that these changes are not independent, they are necessary changes. And we're sharing these changes with our sons, with our daughters, and also we're sharing it with you all too, who's tuned in tonight and who also have subscribed to the show. Anybody take it from there, add to it or whatever.
But I guess with me, I think what this generation, what we need to teach them is like Vince said, discipline. They need to be disciplined. They need to be dedicated, and their self-esteem is low. We need to build their self-esteem up and believe that it's okay to fail. Back when I grew up, you failed, man. You couldn't fail that many times. You've been called a bum. You know what I'm saying? Something wrong with you. But we need to allow our kids to try, allow people to try things and learn from their mistakes. You know, I use that with me. I went through life. I failed many times. You know what I'm saying? But the reason I was failing because I was trying something new. I didn't understand it. I saw something I wanted to try. So I tried it, didn't work. I tried something else, didn't work. I was trying to find myself. I was trying to find my niche. I feel all our kids, I tell my boys, I say, God gave a gift to all of us. Your gift is different from my gift. Your gift, all our gifts are different. Now the thing is, What my job is to help you, guide you to find your gifts. And that's what it's all about. It's not being of this world. I understand what being of this world. No, we don't be of this world. The world don't control you. You control the world. You can control and create the world you want, but it's gonna take some work. It's gonna take some self-discipline. It's gonna take some sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take you being serious, willing to go that part, willing to fail and get up and dust yourself off. A lot of this stuff we talk about is they say, the word mindset, we don't blew it out, but it really is. It's your mind and your beliefs. So that's what we need to work on, that the beliefs that they're good. But back then in the days, again, we go back in the days when they were farmers, man, it was hard work. You know what I'm saying? You laid the ground, you worked the land, you build it, the storm come, mess it up, you had to come back, redo everything, build again, your crops get down, you go through it again. It was up and down. That was life. Life gonna throw you some ups, some roller coasters, some downs, some curves. But how do we maneuver through those things? And like Vince said, the things I like, things that I know I didn't know that I want my kids to know and want people on here to know how important investing is. How important investing is and different ways you can invest. How important real estate is. How important start a business. How important it is to bet on yourself. Don't put your eggs in one basket. That's what we got to teach them. Like you said, AI is coming, but also plumbing, electrician, it's all kind of things. All these opportunities available to you, but you got to be willing. You got to be willing to put them things in order and go after those things. That's it.
Yeah, I think a lot of what changes, and it depends on the individual, right? There are a selected few of kids in this age that still want to learn and humble enough to ask for help and ask people, hey, how did you do that? Me coming up, I had a stepfather in the house for 5 years, right? Age of 11 or 12, he was out of there. So for me, it was like I didn't really have a lot of a male guidance with the exception of my uncles that came around, guys in the neighborhood, older guys that you just, kind of watched them fix cars, watch them do this, watch them do that. Again, didn't have all the distractions that we have today. But the thing that helped me was just my mom put the fear in me, right? We didn't talk about sex, but she
Mhm.
had already said, hey, don't do it. Don't go to jail. Don't call me, right?
Yeah.
To this day, knock on wood, don't have a record. Right. Didn't have my first child when I was 27 or so, right? So for me, it was like I thought I was hot stuff. It was like, man, 20, I don't have a kid, and I'm 26, 27. Man,
Yeah. I
I'm
must be doing something right.
yeah. So again, I think we were always taught go to school. We were always taught to work for other people, right? And again, there's nothing wrong with working for other people if you don't have that discipline. I've seen a lot of people make a nice living for themselves working for other people. But I think today, with so much opportunity out there with the entrepreneurship and again with the AI, people are saying the AI is coming. The AI has been here for years.
Yes.
It has
Yeah.
been here for years, and it just
Right.
people just don't realize it. And just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's starting to really surface more because people are talking about it a little bit more. It's been here, right? So for me, it's just making that grave adjustment of showing my kids like, hey, this is what I've been able to accomplish, but I have to put it in their mindset. This isn't your money. This is my money. I worked hard for this because I think a lot of the times kids get the misinterpretation and probably look at it the wrong way of, oh, well, that's ours. Or if something happens, they can lean on. No, that's not how it goes. Like we've had to really work hard for that. But again, we've laid the blueprint out of how you can do it. And we're showing you. As private as my mom is and still is, and as private as I am, I had to break some of that generational curses of not showing my kids my earnings. If I don't show my kid my earnings and some of the things that I've worked for, how are they going to know what to strive for? Right? To me, it's kind of backwards this time. It's just like the worst thing you can do is have a family secret, right? But again, for those that are doing it, I don't want to talk negatively of them. It works for their household. But for me, I've had to share and say, hey, this is what I've gained. This is a stock that I got. This is a trade that I got. This is a loss that I had, right? Because it's not always going to be on the upside, right? You have to tell them both sides of it so that it doesn't shock them, right? So for me, I'm about the entrepreneurial spirit, but again, getting the education as well too. There's nothing wrong with that as well. I'm still not a college graduate, right? I have a lot of college hours, but I've been fortunate enough. But again, times are changing, right? Everyone is looking for that. So,
You know, gentlemen, one of the things in life, I had to be reminded of this maybe a year and a half ago from Fletcher. And it's a thing I often mention on the program because it's so important, and yet we give it so little attention. Vincent, as you said that, or maybe it was Keith, that all of us have a gift. We all have something. And the thing is, though, what we do, and I can say this because I know I did it, and I'm probably no different than most of you all who are tuning in right now. We base our gifts sometime in the wrong way. We base it on looking outside of ourselves at someone else, and you minimize the gift that was given to you. And I was, as preparing for this show tonight, I was reminded, like I used to think, man, what what do I bring to the table? People tell me I encourage, and I used to minimize an encourager. And then I was reminded, get this, brothers, Bodini Brown. Bodini Brown was the corner man for the greatest boxer ever to live, Muhammad Ali. Bodini Brown never went to college. Bodini Brown didn't know boxing. Ali needed an encourager in the ring. Bodini Brown was the man who created float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. All those famous quotes we hear Ali said. Bodini was encouraging him between rounds and rounds. Bodini became a millionaire, and he was just an encourager. He followed his bliss. He walked into his purpose. You see, sometimes we measure our purpose based on us. We think, oh man, what this is nothing. But if we embrace our purpose, it's no telling how far it would take you. And sometimes I think we just sometimes limit ourselves because we base our purpose sometimes, we base our talent sometimes, we base our gifts sometimes based on other people, which when you do that, it doesn't net you anything. And so if any of y'all out there tuning in, you're listening, and you passionate about something, as Vincent and Fletcher know all too well, start investigating, get information. You might be able to create a job of your own for yourself. If the word entrepreneur frighten you, don't get stuck on the word. Get stuck on your gift. Get stuck on your passion, on your purpose, and your purpose will lead you. See, anything you enjoy doing, you're passionate about, that's your purpose. And it's no telling how successful or how far it would take you, what people you would meet, what places you would go. You can't see that far if you don't even start driving down that road. I just wanted to add that to the table, brothers.
a lot of people mentally check out and they self-sabotage right before they even get there, right? And I've caught myself doing that sometimes, even in the corporate world of maybe I'm not qualified to try out for this, or maybe I'm not qualified to try out for that. And one thing I've always taught my kids that I've coached and my sons and folks that I've mentored is don't do the job of the coach. Make their decision. Let them make the hard decision. Don't do it for them. Right? Don't. I've self sabotaged myself almost out of career positions. Right? Of I'm not good enough. Or I don't have that degree, or I don't have that experience. And it's like, okay, but you don't know until you try, right? And it's just kind of like you said, uh, extraordinary. People have to want to ask and to learn, like, hey, how did you do that? How do you get there?
That's right.
Success leaves clues.
That's right.
Say that again. Success leaves clues, but the only way that you're going to find out about that clue is either by watching and asking and learning. That's how you learn, right? You ask the questions. A lot of people are afraid to ask the questions because they quite frankly don't want to look stupid. And I've
Mm-hmm.
always been told,
Mm-hmm.
one of my uncles, and I can't curse on here, he was like, there's no such thing as a stupid question. It's just a stupid person asking a question. I'm like, come on now. But we have to be humble enough to ask the questions, even if we don't know, right? Keith, I'll turn it over to you, man.
Well, I had a child at 18, 17, 18. I've been in, I got a record. I done did some things, tried some things. I think I look over my life, I think I never was scared to try something. I always was inquisitive I felt, my grandmother used to tell me all the time, if somebody put their pants leg, they put their pants leg one at a time, just like you. So if I saw something that I liked and saw something somebody else was doing, they could do it, I always believe I could do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I lived my life. I was never scared. I thought any man that could do something, I can do it. I wanted whatever in my life, I went and tried it. I did it. I tried it. The army, even things in the army. Airborne, jumping out of plane, jumping out of helicopter. I was going to be a ranger, but my personal life was messed up. You know what I'm saying? But anything, any jobs I did. I remember I wanted to be. I said I'm gonna go back and be IT, work in IT. And I remember I went on the interview. I didn't know anything about it. And the guy hold up a cable, and he said, Miss Fletcher, what is this cable? And I'm looking at the cable. I'm like, man, it blows my mind right now. You know what I'm saying? And the man just put his head down. He said, Mr. Fletcher, you might need to go back and get a little study. And it was a simple Ethernet cord, RJ45. I'm like, but that was me. If I put the resume together, I figured out to do it. I was gonna try. You know what I'm saying? But I came back. Anything that I said that I was gonna do, I was gonna do it. I wanted to be a manager of Foot Locker. I wanted to run the champs. I was gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? And I tried out, and it worked. You know what I'm saying? It was work. I always believed it. You know what I'm saying? But I say one thing about me. I didn't have the right people on me because I was aiming too high. Everything I aimed for, I got, but I mean aiming too low. I was aiming low. You know what I'm saying? So when my problem was that I didn't know the right people. My problem was I wouldn't let the right people next to me. I just wanted the people, I was comfortable with. I felt good that I was the smartest person around my friends. You know what I'm saying? I felt good because I had the most money. You know what I'm saying? I felt good and I never got nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So when I started being uncomfortable, when I lost everything and said, I realized, I got to do something different. This ain't working the same way. I got to do this different. And then I started saying, I found myself no negative debt. I mean, I'm like negative net worth, negative 50 some thousand. I owe the IRS. I have tickets, $10,000 in $10,000 in tickets. I don't have insurance. I'm telling you, I had nothing. I'm laying on the sofa. I'm at my daddy's house, on my daddy's sofa, where I said that I would never be. That's where I was at, man. I was like, lost everything, and I'm divorced, child support, all these things. And I remember saying I got to get up. And this is what got me. I tell people only two things I know to do. I knew to go get a job, and the second thing was to get a second job, a part-time job. To this day, those two things, like I should have knew more. I should have known more than just getting two jobs. When all around this world, all the opportunities around this, that's all I knew. That bothered me. That bothered me deeply. Like I gotta find out. It's gotta be more than that out here than that. And that's what I went on. I started going to school. I'm trying to find. I'm searching, and that when I start you seeking, you should find, and I started finding. But the person that I was could not go with me. The person who I was could not go where I was trying to go. I had to strip that person, and it took a long time to strip him. It had some scars and some stuff that I learned that was no good for me, and I had to strip those things. So I would tell people a lot of things that's stopping you is you. The person that you have that you want to be, you're looking at that person, you can't bring that person where you're trying to go. The word entrepreneur, I don't think it's entrepreneur. I think investing in yourself, investing in your dreams. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Like I said, working for somebody, having a plan. I didn't have no plan. When I decided what I wanted, I had a plan. I wasn't scared of nothing. I believed I had all the confidence in the world. But my self-esteem, because I didn't have no knowledge. I had no understanding. So now I got to put some self. So when I started getting the self-esteem, I got the knowledge, I started believing. I had the confidence. Oh, it was nothing stopping me again. Then I had a plan, and that was the difference for me. I had
Keith,
no
Keith, how's it go? Those that fail to plan to fail.
in the field. I had no, and that was my problem. I had no plan. Just like we talk about AI is coming. Before people drove buggies, then they got cars. They had manufacturing, then that went away. These are life cycles that happens all the time. But I didn't know. That's what I'm saying. I was lost. I had no understanding how the world worked. I had no understanding when people move from Chicago. Why did they move from the South to Chicago looking for jobs? Like now, people move from California to Texas. These cycles, life cycles that you can watch. These things, what the jobs at, where they going, and what they paying. These things that you start seeing. So when I moved to Colorado to Texas, in Texas, I'm seeing Texas. Oh man, I'm seeing how much the houses cost. Oh man, now I got to learn about credit, and now I start. Oh, now I see. So what I'm saying is, what I want to pass I tell my kids now. I already did everything wrong. I know what to do right. You don't have to do the wrong. I did all the wrong already for you. Let me show you the right. I got the wrong tied up for you. You know what I'm saying? Now let's follow the right. Let me give you some of the right stuff. Because I did it wrong. I'm going to tell you the wrong, and I'm going to tell you the right. And like Vince said, I'm going to show you these games. I'm going to show you my failures, and I'm going to show you my wins. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to show you why I think the way I think. I'm going to show you why my risk tolerance is higher than somebody else's risk tolerance. Because I had nothing but to lose. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that I teach. So how you change things and understanding, that's what happened for me.
Keith, I like what you said because I remember walking the boys, I think it was Walmart or something, about 5 years ago.
Mhm.
And I said, man, I said, do you see that? I said, they're starting to automate more, right? Self-checkout.
Mhm. That's right.
We saw it coming. Again, we keep thinking AI is coming. AI has been here.
It's been here.
I told him years ago, I said, man, look at the shift that's starting to happen. I said,
It's been happening.
Yeah.
over years, you start seeing checkers, less checkers, more self-checkout, less checkers, more self-checkout.
Yeah.
Those self-checkouts don't talk back. You don't have to pay insurance. Like I get it from a business standpoint, right?
Yep.
But the stuff that's happening has happened right before our eyes, and a lot of us haven't done anything. We've watched it, and then we talk about it later in a complaint, and it's like, okay, well, y'all knew it was coming. We saw it was coming. What are we going to do to jump ahead of it? I told my boys back then, I said, you can either do one or two things. You can either learn how to program the robot, or else you can take orders from the robot.
Mhm.
Right?
That's
These
right.
are conversations that we have to start having with the individuals because, again, the stuff happens right before our eyes, but sometimes we just do stuff a little bit too late, right?
Yeah.
And
We
again,
always,
when we break these generational curses by having conversations, sharing, like you said, Keith, our failures and our wins, right?
Mhm.
We have to celebrate both, right?
Nope.
There is no shame on anybody who's done this and who's done that. I've seen like millionaires that have just been horrible people. And again, you see struggling people that's like, good people, and it's like,
Yeah.
hey, where's your mind at? So
And this is what we have, friends. You all are looking at and listening to three divorced men.
mm,
Put that in your coffee and sip.
mm,
But we've bounced back.
mhm.
There's nothing special about us that you don't have yourself. And we're going to play a small segment of Deontay Wilder. He himself, too, just like Vincent, just like Fletcher, just like myself, gone through a divorce, bounced back, breaking generational curse because we didn't allow our setback to hold us back. And you can say the same thing about yourself, and you can do it.
I mean, if anyone has, if one have dealt with betrayal, you understand the feeling of it. You understand the pain that comes behind it, especially when you've done stuff for so many people. You done took people to places where they never would have been without you in their lives or present at any given time. And then when they betray you, it's like a dagger in your heart. You know, it's like I tell people it's 10 times worse than a heartbreak. You know, and but for me, it's just been a domino effect, year after year after year. You find it, you know, and it's like an orange. People are squeezing until they feel like all the juice is out of you, and then when all the juice out of you, they'll throw away the hull.
That's a man who's gone through a divorce, and it sounds like he's down and out for the count. The brother got a fight coming up this month in June on the way coming back. Later on part two of the show, we're going to be playing an uplifted motivational speech by Lisa Nichols that I believe you do want to stick around and hear Lisa Nichols because she really going to bring the house down. But we're talking about breaking the curse. Breaking the curse, friends, is going through what life brings you and understand that is part of the process. It's part of the process, just like the rain fall on that beautiful red rose that you love so much. That red rose went through the storm and went through the rain, but it still bloomed. It bloomed. It bloomed again. It bloomed again. You may be going through some difficult challenges in your life right now. You may feel like, man, extra, man, I'm not as talented as you guys. Don't cut yourself short. Don't limit yourself. What you have is enough. If you could see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. You see, but we have to reprogram our way of thinking. You was fed a bunch of things that has held you back, and some of the things that you were fed growing up because it's the norm way, it's a society way, it's the way to keep you working for someone else, it's the way to keep you as a happy employee. What we're bringing to you, what we're offering to you, yes, that's wonderful, that's great, but you can add to it. See, we're not here to subtract, we're here to add. We're here to tell you, you might be able to do something you really enjoy doing. Do that on the side. Let's see how that work out for you. And before you throw in the towel on it, get the information. That's knowledge, information, knowledge. And the more you walk towards the thing that you really want to do, I almost promise you, to your surprise, what you're looking for is there, is looking for you, it's waiting for you. Destiny doesn't chase. It always been there. We have to get ready to be there. And I have to say this again because it's just that necessary. You know, we all know, and you all who are tuning and listening in, you all know how devastating a divorce is, financially, mentally. It's devastating. It depletes you financially. It's humiliating. It's embarrassing. But look at us now. Listen to us. And I firmly believe this is why we're here. We're here to help you, encourage you to break the curse, break the cycle. You don't have to stay where you've always been. I'm done.
You mind if I jump in, Larry?
Go ahead, man. I know you gotta go. Go ahead. I know you gotta go. Go ahead, brother.
No, I was going to just say, man, it's funny again, the timing of this. My oldest he had to buy my stepdaughter's car. And so from my wife's daughter. And so he and his mom came a couple months ago over to the house. You know, my oldest son's mom. I have both of my sons are by two different females. I didn't marry my high school sweetheart, but I did marry my second child's mom that lasted 5 years. My oldest walked out in the garage. I was outside talking to my youngest, and the oldest hits me on the shoulder. He said, "Hey, Dad," he said, "Come here." I was like, "Yeah." He said, "How does it feel to have my mom and your wife in there talking?" And I said, "You know what, man?" I said, "I'm in a good place." I said, "I'm at peace." I said, "The life I lived way back before 10, 15, 20 years ago was kind of dirty, right? When it came to women, more than one." So for me, it was like, V, I said, it's a good feeling. I said, because I know I'm doing the right thing. I said, my wife is headstrong. Your mom is headstrong. I said, they're in there having good conversation. I said, that's how it should be. It's peaceful, right? And then I took both of them and I said, you know what, Luke? Luke is my youngest, V is my oldest. I said, let me tell you something. I said, I come from a broken home. I said, V, you come from a broken home because I didn't marry your mom. I said, Luke, you come from a broken home because I divorced or we got a divorce. I said, at some point, I said, it's a lot of responsibility and pressure. I said, but you two got to break that chain. I said, you got to break the generational curses. This is a conversation I had verbatim with them a couple months ago. I'm speaking the power of manifestation and speaking that word in because I was like, you know what, it's up to you. I said, I know it's a lot of pressure. I said, but you guys have got to break that generational curse of divorce. I'm talking to the same two young men that when I came home one day in 2010, half the house was empty. My ex-wife left, or wife at the time left. Keep in mind, both boys were about to come home, right? So I had to get myself together. But later that day, I'm on the edge of the bed, crying, bawling my eyes out. Next thing I hear, gentlemen, I'm gonna tell y'all this. I felt two sets of hands. One was from my youngest, one was from my oldest. As I'm weeping on the bed, and they just touched me on my. They touched me on my back and say, "Dad, it's gonna be okay." At that point, I knew I had to pick myself up, guys, because there's more to it, and I got to get through it. I got two young men that I got to raise, got to pour into, right? So again, I go from having two men touch me on my back as little boys, probably 7 and 12, 7 and 10, because they're both 5 years apart, to 15, 20 years later, having that conversation of y'all got to break the generational curse.
Wow.
I'm going to turn it over to you, Fletch.
Well, that's heavy. You want me to come after that?
We could take a break if you want, Fletcher.
Well, no, you can do it if you want. I know Vince got it. You can go ahead. You go ahead if you want to. Yeah.
All right, yeah, that Vincent. I just put in the comment. It's amazing how the spirit works. But I'm with you, Keith. That was after that. We're going to take a small break. Ladies and gentlemen, this is World Premiere Word on the Streets. Don't go anywhere. We will be back. So please don't go anywhere.
My Destiny Journal is a sacred invitation to pause, reflect, and reconnect with the truth of who you are and where you're headed. It's not just a place to write. It's a space to remember your worth, reclaim your voice, and reignite your purpose.
This is more than a journal. It's your sacred space to slow down, to breathe, and to remember who you are. 7 days, 7 affirmations, space to write, reflect, pray, or simply listen inward.
Whether you're healing, dreaming, or rediscovering your path, My Destiny Journal meets you where you are.
This 130-page journal is the only invitation you'll need for a lifelong date with your destiny. Your journey begins now.
All right, family. Now it's time to go deeper. This is the moment where we peel back the layers, challenge old thinking, and get real about what's truly holding us back and what can finally push us forward. So grab your journals, lean in, and don't just listen, engage. And if something resonates with you tonight, do us a favor, subscribe, like, and share this message with someone who needs it, because the conversation we're having is bigger than us. This is the world premiere Word on the Streets.
Before we can shift into an abundance mindset, we must begin with honesty. Brutal, uncompromising honesty, because you can't shift what you won't name. And many of us are walking around not realizing that we are living under the shadow of scarcity. Not just financial scarcity, but emotional, mental, relational scarcity. This deeply rooted belief that there is never enough, and worse, that we are never enough. Doesn't always shout at us. In fact, scarcity whispers. It creeps in through thoughts like, I don't have what it takes, or I'll never catch up, or why would anyone choose me? It shows up in our relationships when we withhold love or support because deep down, we fear we'll be depleted if we give too much. It shows up in business when we hoard ideas or compete destructively. It shows up in how we receive compliments. We deflect them, minimize them, push them away because scarcity says, you don't deserve that. This mindset is not accidental. It is inherited. Most of us were taught it before we even had the language to name it. Through culture, through our families, through repeated disappointment or unmet needs. We were taught that life is a pie. If someone else gets a big slice, there's less for us. We were taught that love must be earned, that success is rare, and that safety only comes from control. But let's pause here. Let's really question. What if this scarcity lens isn't reality? It's just a story we've been told. A story so persistent and normalized that it feels like truth. But just because something feels true doesn't mean it is true. Feelings are real, but they aren't always reliable indicators of truth, especially when they've been shaped by unchallenged narratives. The scarcity mindset is kind of psychological confinement. It tells you, be careful, stay small, don't ask for too much. It convinces you that joy must be earned through suffering, that opportunity is a one-time shot, and that there's not enough love, time, or recognition to go around. And here's where the real shift begins. When you start to observe that mindset instead of merging with it, when you become conscious of the scarcity script playing in the background of your life, you can begin to rewrite it. That's where the door opens. Because what you're conscious of, you can change. What stays in the dark stays in control. Because what you're conscious of, you can change. What stays in the dark stays in control. Because what you're conscious of, you can change. What stays in the dark stays in control.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vincent, man, we understand you have an obligation, but brother, it was just the right show and the right moment, and I believe what we're doing is helping a lot of people because they can feel and sense the realness from where we're coming from, and especially from your spoken words in that last segment. So, brother, thank you again for joining us tonight. We know you have a pre-obligation, but we definitely will be back on live, the three of us, as soon as possible. Vincent have obligation probably for our next show, but he's gonna always be around, friends. So don't get nervous. He ain't going nowhere. We ain't letting him go that easy. But thanks again, my brother.
I appreciate that, gentlemen. Y'all have a blessed night. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Go ahead on, Fletcher.
Now, what's in the dark is stays in control. I like what you said. As you know, I say all the time, I'm naked on here. I'm not going to let that darkness, control me because I understand we make mistakes. I understand that we fall down and I understand that the only judgment is me, in the Most High. So I truly understand those things, letting those things, because you know how I say a closed mouth don't get fed. If you got something hid, no one can help you. No one can help you. You putting them things in the dark, putting them in the closet, hiding it away, and then you wonder why things don't work because you are putting them letting the dark take it over. No one can get you out of that dark. Nobody can reach you in that darkness and grab you because they don't know you in the dark. So that's why, again, why we come on word on the street, word premiere on the streets, and we lay it out to you. We talk about our woes, we talk about our wins, we talk about our losses. You know what I'm saying? To let you know you're not the only one been there. You're not the first, or you're not the last. You know what I'm saying? So we go through this. This is normal. This is a part of life. We trying to give you solutions, how to get out of that darkness. We try to bring light to that darkness. That's why I tell you, man, all them things you went through, and I know it's hard, but if you could, just put them up, get a bag, put them all in a bag, and go dig a hole and put them there. You have the power to change anything. You have the power to you can be anything in life you want to be, but you got to be willing to change. That's the part. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable because you've been that way to all you know, but you got to change. You got to start speaking different. You got to start going places different. You got to start reading different things. You got to start believing. And the more you do it, the more you will grow. The more you do it, the more you grow. The more you do it, your friend that you thought they were friends, they will start moving out the way. And new friends and new things will start coming to you. But you got to be willing. You got to be intentional. You got to be disciplined. You got to be dedicated. And that's what it's about. That's what it builds right there. That's the start of it right there.
Now, folks, Fletcher's not just saying that just to be saying it. He's not just saying every word he said is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But Fletcher, in order for someone to change, just break it down to them in your way of speaking. What if a person they want to make changes, but they just feel like it won't work for them? What would you tell them? What would you show them? How would you encourage them? How would you help them?
Yeah, that's a big question, man. I would tell you, you got to find someone. You got to find someone yourself. You know what I'm saying? With me, I'll speak with me, man. When I was searching, and like say, first you got to admit you got a problem. First, you got to really say, I want to change. You got to say, I want, because it don't matter what nobody say. You got to want to. You got to be tired of being tired. That's the first thing. You got to be willing and understanding and say, hey, I don't like this who I am. I want to do better. And then that's when that begins right there, Xtradonaire. I would say that. You got to be willing to change first. You got to decide. You got to look in the mirror and say, I don't want to wear this mask anymore. I want to take this mask off, and I want to stop worrying about who this, that, and I want to find the real me. I want to dig in there and find the real person that's under this mask, and not worry about what somebody else said, or who told me, what my mama thought, what the teacher thought, or what the coach thought, or was whoever. I want to find that person that I know. That's what I would say for that.
See, that's what I'm saying, friends. Just like in AA, just like in everything else, you have to first be open and honest with yourself. Be thou true to thyself. Fletcher, I want to ask you, I want to just follow up, brother. You know, I like to squeeze all the juice I can out of you when I can, because we only get it once a week. What's one truth you had to unlearn to move forward?
Oh, it's many. Like I say, now I already knew it was okay to fail, but I think the one big truth that I had to learn, man, people just don't know. You know how you think you blind to certain things, you just don't know. You can look at something and think that's what it is, but your eyes will lie to you. You know what I'm saying? So that was with me, that I really didn't know. You can look at somebody, you can see somebody, they got the cars, they got this. That don't really mean that tell you that they're successful. You know what I'm saying? So with me, I had to be successful for me, with being okay with me. You know what I'm saying? Okay, wherever I was and wherever I at, I had to be okay with me. This is where I'm at. It don't mean I'm gonna be here. This is where I'm gonna be at. But I gotta be okay where I'm at. I had to be okay with me. You know what I'm saying? Not what my mama said, not what nobody. I had to be okay with me. Man. I said that was my biggest thing for me.
Yeah. Friends, what we're talking about how to break curses on generational roadblocks in your life. So often in our life, we have things that we continue to live by. Rules been pre-programmed in our subconscious mind, pre-programming our thoughts until we live what we've been taught, because it's pre-programmed. And we grow up believing everything that we've been taught as if it's all true. I'm not saying it's all bad, but Fletcher, I don't know if it's all truth. Some things we have to unlearn and relearn. That's a lot of things in my life I had to unlearn.
Mm-hmm.
I had to unlearn, man. You know, uh, because I grew up in a dynamic, and it's like Fletcher, you often say on this program, I grew up in a dynamic, and when you meet someone else, they grew up in a different dynamic than I did. Now, I'm not, but you see what it is, friend. We're not willing to adapt and make those changes because we believe what we believe according to how we grew up. Not understanding the fact that they believe they have the same right as you have for yourself. Fletcher, they believe like they believe. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Talk to me, brother.
Now, and when I was in the military, you would meet different people from all different race, all different creed. You know, you would meet them, and they had like you say, they believe something, you believe something, and that when the problems hit, you thought your way was right. They
Yeah.
thought their way was right. But who told you your way was right? You know what I'm saying? Just because you lived it, and who
Yeah.
told them their way was right? And that's when it
Right.
comes from down. I
Right.
said one thing I learned from there that was my like let me show you example. Like when I lost everything, and my wife I went now we was dating, and I got me an apartment. I had no furniture in the apartment. I was sleeping on the air mattress. I'm 32 years old, and I done had a house. I've been in the military. And I had furniture, but I'm back starting over. I got kids, and I'm sleeping on that. I just couldn't deal with that. And my wife, girlfriend at the time, she was like, "Why don't you just where you at?" The problem was I couldn't be in the now. I was looking in the past and I was looking in the future. I just couldn't be in the now. Like this is where I'm at now. deal with now. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking about what I used to be and what I had and what I should be and all that, but I couldn't be. Even now, fast forward to now. Let me show you the same thing. I can be have more things, but I'm still looking. You can be still looking in the past and looking in the future. And what we never in the now. Never in the now. So I try to be in the now and understand what's going on now. So like if I can go back in them army days and them people when they were telling me about what they believe and not even put I'd have been listening and sitting there trying to figure out, well, why do he think like that? You know what I'm saying? Not me saying, well, this the way, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it should be like this instead of like just hearing them out.
Yeah.
But why do you think like that?
Yeah.
But why don't you? So when you go, you know what I'm saying, and got more information from different avenues, and I could have learned something.
Right. Exactly. Right. I hear you, brother. I hear you.
I went in the now. You know what I'm saying? I was all in the past about what I was taught, and that moment right there was a moment that I just took as. But it wasn't. It was, man. Think about it, all these different people, ethnic groups, and all that was in one area, different states, and all that. And I'm over here want to show my way is right instead of trying to be in the now and understand what's happening now. You know, go ahead.
Yeah, man, that's beautiful. And this is what we're talking about, breaking the cycle. Okay, that's who you were then. Are you bringing that same person in your now today?
No, oh no, I had to learn that too, man. But and now I'm enjoying the now. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And I had to learn that. I had to learn what's happening because you can miss if you're not in the now. You gonna miss.
That's right. You can miss it.
You can miss the opportunity. You can
Guarantee.
miss
I don't mean
so
no
much.
talk to you, but I guarantee you teaching that to your kids too.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes.
That's
Oh,
what
yes.
we're talking about. That's
Being
what
in
we're
the now.
talking about.
That's
Go
it
ahead
right
on,
there.
brother, because that
And
makes so much
nothing,
sense.
nothing wrong with having a goal. Like I said, Extradonaire, we got our journals. You know, you can be writing stuff in your journals and always think of the future, but be in the now. This is where I'm at now. It don't mean you're gonna be there now. That you mean you're gonna be there later on, but right now, choose to be in the now and don't miss what's happening in the now. You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's why they talk about the be, do, have, be fruitful, do, multiply, have dominion. Becoming something, being now, believing, being now, being in there right now. Because the blessing is that I woke up the next day. I can't worry about tomorrow. I just want to be better than I was yesterday. You see what I'm saying? And being in there. That's it right there.
Man, those words are rich. And I fear oftentimes that people miss those rich words like that because people are so focused on big things. But what you just said, man, is pure gold. Being in the now, being in this moment. You see, we miss the moment looking at what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
We miss the moment thinking about what has happened
Mhm.
instead of living in the moment. I can't say enough about that, but we're talking about it because we want you to break that cycle, friends. In order to transform and move forward in your life, there are some personality traits we need to break.
Oh, yeah.
We just need to break some of the things. We can't carry that old person into today, into the now. You want to change, but you want to bring that old man into the day and then complain about why things aren't changing for you. It won't happen any more than you can expect crops to grow on concrete. You got to put it in an atmosphere for change. You have to put yourself in an atmosphere to change. And you can start by living in the now. We presented to you, the three of us, we've all have gone through a divorce. And if you talk with anybody outside of this platform, real people I'm talking about, not Hollywood, I'm talking about real people, they will tell you the devastation of a divorce. You listen to one of the heavyweight champions of the world, Deontay Wilder. You hear how devastating he is. He said, it's the betrayal is worse than a broken heart. The man is talking from a depth of pain. It's a mental struggle. It's financially, will break you financially. But we're here. We're in the now. And not only are we in the now, we're communicating to you that yes, your job is wonderful. Yes, it pays, keep that job. But if you could do what you really, really, really wanted to do, what would you be doing? And we're advocating for you to do that. We're not saying quit your job. See, we're not taking away, we're adding to. Do what you really want to do. Do it on the side. Get the information. Find out. Be inquisitive. Break the cycle. Go ahead on, brother.
Nah, you would think the boxer, man, and like I said, it's gonna take time for him to heal, but he will get better, man. He will get through that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That part that like Vince was saying, Xtradonaire said, we went through that, but man, you will get through it. But when you're going through that fire, it is a hard trap. It's a hard thing to do, man. But I had a friend that, because I went through a divorce, I help many people that go through it now. Especially when you have kids, I tell the men, hey, the children is watching.
Yeah.
Especially if you got men, boys, they're watching you how you do things, because they're going to, the same way you see, hear, and touch it, that's how they will handle when they go through some things. So you got to think about that. It ain't just you. You're not the only one going through this. Other people are going through it. Like you said, you hurting. We take the 10 to say, well, he hurting, but we don't know the other person how they hurting too. You know what I'm saying? The two sides of a coin, two sides of a story. So, you know what I'm saying? Both people, like when I went through my divorce, when I was going through it, it was woe is me. And I remember me and Selena, I was talking to her one time, and after after the girl, I thought she didn't have no compassion. We was going through it, and she told me one day, she said, "Man, when I used to get off that phone with you, we argued, but I used to get off that phone, I was hurting, I was crying too. We don't never hear that side for the person. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, she was hurting too. She was crying too. She lost someone too. It was hard for her too. But I look back at it and say, I'm just saying my point. When I got later, I told Selena, it was been over, but I'm the one. She tried to show me, but I was so focused that I didn't see it. It was over, but I didn't see it, and she was trying to show me, and she chose herself. She chose herself. No matter what you think, at the end of the day, she made a choice to choose her. I should have made a choice to choose me. You know what I'm saying? And she chose herself, and that's what. And I should have. And later on, I understood. I respected it, but I couldn't see when you wrapped up. And you so into this something. You into this things called marriage. Into this thing called life, and she chose herself. And that's why I had to learn. That's why I had to see how can I be mad at that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't giving her what she wanted at the time. I wasn't that person that she needed. You know what I'm saying? And I can't say I was a perfect person, and she knows she wasn't perfect. But I tell people now that I went through divorce and I went through the fire, all I can do is look at what I could have done. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to say what another person could have done, but what I could have done. That's what I look at it with that, man. And that's why we can be friends now. Because, you know what I'm saying, I had to heal me to be able to forgive her. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. And I wanted her to forgive me. You know what I'm saying? I needed her to forgive me until I can go on into my marriage. And like Vince say, my wife and she come to my house, her kids and my kids, because she got remarried, had kids. They like family. We like family. But it took that to heal, because my mom and dad never got that. Never got to have that. And until to the day, I think they needed that. You know what I'm saying? But they never got to have that, man. But it was a moment for me, very important for me to do that. And it worked out right. It worked out right for both of us. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all, man. But that was for me to do that, man. And I hope the man, I hear his pain. I hear his pain of what someone did, because he's still in that. He's still in the storm. But when he get through it, he start looking. I hope the Most High show him, you know what I'm saying, the way and the reason you open up and be able to let that go. You know what I'm saying? That's what, yeah. But I'm gonna tell you like this, Troy. Now I know, like Vince say, man, to have your ex and your wife in and they laughing and talking, it's an unusual moment, because it doesn't happen a lot. But see, that got to be a special moment. Something like that happened. We looking at it, oh man, that's a special moment, man. That means that y'all had something. Something was inside of y'all that y'all had that is still there. You know what I'm saying? It didn't have to be the marriage, but still was something left. A piece of something had to be there, the respect or something. So me and Selena, like we like family. You know what I'm saying? And we both say that I knew when she was 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? From 15 to where she at now, we 50s in our 50s, man. So now, man, how to go through all these years hating and having
Yeah.
regret, I had to fix that. I didn't want that. I couldn't do that, and I'm glad she allowed us. The Most High allowed us to fix that, man. It's refreshing. What Vince was saying, man, is a refreshing. Look what he said. His boys saw him. See, they seen how a man conduct himself.
There you go.
And respect how he respect that young man gonna respect his dad and let my mom come in there and stand in there and be there, man. He gonna, man, dang,
Breaking the cycle.
man, breaking that cycle. That's it. So with me, that's breaking that cycle. You know, I'm seeing that. You know, even that healing that. You know,
Yeah, because if you're gonna be able to talk have a man talk with your sons, you got to first be the man.
you got to be them exactly. Who am I to tell my son about the divorce and how you should be? And I'm still angry at my ex. Who am I? You know what I'm saying? Like my boys, it's Miss Selena. That's Miss Selena. They're gonna see her, she gonna hug her. How you doing? That's it. Our boys see me, they call me uncle. Hey, that's my uncle, man. They come and they see me, they talk to me, shake my hand, and call them. That's it. You know? So that's what it's about with us. You know, I can't speak for nobody else. They take time. Listen to me. Some people, I never. It take time, man. Because I'm telling you, I know people that been divorced still talk about their ex. Because I feel they never had closure, man. They never had that closure. And I'm showing you this is what closure look like. Vince just showed you what closure look like. It's a piece, man. It really is a piece.
Hey, folks, if y'all enjoy this show, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. This is the world premiere Word on the Streets. We bring it to you like this every Thursday at 7:30 Central Standard Time. And make no mistake about it, friends. We're passionate and we put our personal life on the line for the benefit of you. Because we want to see you break the cycle in your life, in your relationship, in your business as well, and enjoy work-life balance to really live a self-actualized life, to really transform your life and live it the way that you read in books that other people have lived, and come to a realization that it is possible. The possibility is not just made for some, the possibilities are made for you also. This is world premiere Word on the Streets, and Fletcher and I and Vincent, we can't wait to be back with you all real soon. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and take our link and share with your friends and with someone who really needs to hear a program like this. Thank y'all very much. Fletcher, last word for the group.
Hey, man, I apologize for the coughing. Yeah, I apologize for the coughing and stuff, man. But hey, y'all have a good day, man. And may the Most High bless you from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, man. Put a hedge of protection around you and your loved ones that hear my voice. Man, that's it. Come back and see us next week. Xtradonaire, good show. Man, I like that Destiny Journal, man. I need to check it out on Amazon. Yeah, get that, man. Start dreaming. Start writing your destiny. Hey, thank y'all.
And that wraps up another powerful episode of world premiere Word on the Streets. We're live every Thursday evening at 7:30 Central Standard Time, and we'd love to have you join us again. So take a moment to subscribe, tap that like button, and become part of this growing community. Until next time, guard your thoughts, speak only what you truly want to experience, and stay laser focused on what matters. Your words shape your world, and your mindset fuels your mission. We'll see you again. Same time, same place. right here on world premiere Word on the Streets, where truth meets transformation. Stay strong, stay grounded, and as always, stay true.